Hi, my name is Derek Fahey. I'm a registered patent attorney and trademark attorney with the Plus IP firm, and this is going to be a somewhat short video on 35 USC 101 rejections related to software patent applications. That's the rejections you would get that says your patent claims are not patentable subject matter. And this is very frequent with software patent application. First off, again, my name is Derek Fahey. I'm a registered patent attorney and trademark attorney with the Plus IP firm. We do a lot of software patent applications at the office, so we're very familiar with these types of rejections. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. This is really for the US only. I understand that other jurisdictions have other tests, but this is for the US only. Now, let's get started. So it's actually a two-part test. It's part 1 and part 2. Part 2 actually has steps 2A and 2B, and step 2A actually has prong 1 and 2. It sounds very strange, but it was developed like this because of the case law that has come out, and now that's what we have. So part 1, most software is not considered patent eligible subject matter under part 1, under step 1, excuse me. Step 1 says, is the claim directed to a process, machine, manufacturer, or a composition of nature? If it's not one of those 4 categories, it's not eligible under step 1. Because software is not one of those 4 categories, we actually always have to move to step 2A. And step 2A for software actually asks whether or not it's considered a abstract idea. And abstract ideas are not going to be considered patentable eligible subject matter. And you would get another rejection or an upheld rejection stating that your claim is not directed to patentable subject matter. Regarding step 2A, prong 1, there are several different examples that the examining attorneys will give you to say that your idea is directed to an abstract idea. Mathematical concepts, mental processes, and certain methods of organizing human activity. Many times software, for example, if you are receiving certain data, providing a simple algorithm, and then spitting out a calendar invite, you're gonna fail that test under step 2A, because you're going to be considered an abstract idea under these 3 groupings. So, for example, fundamental economic principles is going to be considered patent ineligible because it's one of these particular groupings that you're going to be classified under. So if you do get the rejection like this, you need to focus on why your invention or why your claim actually teaches more than that. In fact, that leads you to step 2A, prong 2. So if you are kind of lumped into one of these categories that are judicially assigned, you can argue that even if that is the case, which we always try to argue that is not the case, that under step 2A, prong 2, your claim is directed to a practical application that does not cover all abstract ideas. And what does that mean? What does integrating to practical application means? Well, you want to try to point out to the claim elements that show that, hey, yes, we're doing something that is actually more than just a few steps and having certain machine components in it. So you can try to argue and point out to the claim elements that get around that. If the examiner does say that you fail step 2A, prong 2 under the practical application, you can always go to step 2B. Step 2B basically says, does the invention as a whole give something substantially more, significantly more? This we find is kind of a catch-all argument, but it's a really good argument that's able to get around. We always try to argue all through every single step, but step 2B, we find it really a great way to get around these type of rejections. One of the best ways we find to get around 101 rejections or non-patentable subject matter rejections is to try to find some reasons why the invention actually is improving over the prior art. So if you can argue that the particular steps or the invention in a whole actually provides some sort of improvement over the prior art, then it could be considered patentable subject matter. A great example is system architecture. For example, let's say you get all the way through the steps, obviously step 1, step 2A, prongs 1, prong 2, and you get to prong 2B, you can argue that potentially your actual system architecture or maybe your method steps that you're relying on for your particular software application adds something that's an improvement over the prior art. Potentially, for example, maybe your particular invention actually has a higher level of security. Maybe the invention actually decreases processing time, or decreases the energy, or something like that. Try to focus on how your invention actually overcomes the challenges in the prior art. It's almost like responding to an obvious rejection, or in Europe, the inventive step rejection, to try to get around this patentable subject matter invention. We find that very, very helpful in overcoming these types of rejections. So, in summary, we have a U.S. Very odd test in the U.S. It's just because of the case law. Step 1, step 2, A, prongs 1 and 2, and then prongs B. If you have any questions about patentable subject matter, I can certainly answer them for you. Leave some comments in the video, or just reach out to us, www.plusfirm.com. My email address is derek@plusfirm.com. Always happy to answer any questions. My Instagram is Derek Fahey, PA. If you have any questions, let us know. We're happy to help and answer and help you to create the value that you have actually, that you deserve. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.